We live in like information age, you know. It's just, you know, since the internet took off and TV took off and then the internet took off. But before we get further into that, I want to like kind of explain it in the way of, we, in our parents' days and before our parents, their parents, grandparents, so on and so forth, all they had in some cases was the radio. You know, I remember Dave Chappelle saying, and I'll find the video for you. I remember Dave Chappelle saying in one of his specials, you know, he remembers the rocket launching, and he was in school and they all huddled around the TV and watched that happen. And, you know, unfortunately the rocket blew up and the guy died, but like that information was like right there. Like it was to see it. It's not like I could watch it on a stream or I can watch it on Instagram, or I can watch it on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. But nowadays, God forbid something like that happened today, and then bang, it's everywhere so quickly. Like everybody's got a video of it, what have you. I'll quote the great Denzel Washington, where he said, he was asked a question about what's the effects of too much information. And he said, well, I'm a firm believer, if you drink too much water, you'll drown. And that goes to saying that we live in a time where maybe things, from even a mental health standpoint, things are just flashed at us too quickly. We get a lot of people saying, oh, I have to get away from social media, or I have to turn my phone off, or what have you. I'm not going to talk about that too much, because I'm good at detaching myself from come off of social media, because nothing that happens on social media affects me or bothers me. Unless it's something like what took place with George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or Ahmaud Arbery. Those things bother me. But in terms of, you know, general day-to-day stuff, what rappers doing this, what singers doing that, what actors doing that, I don't give a shit. Like, I genuinely don't. But talking about society, and not so much just myself, we live in a time where the effects of the internet, television, all these things, and more so the internet more than because it governs that video, it's the Wild West. Where are we getting to a uncontrollable state now with information and how much of it comes out? Or is this good because everything needs to be exposed?
I think it's bad in the Western countries because there's so much information, and usually people just go to the same places to get their information, which can be dangerous, because if you're going to the Daily Mail, they're going to usually give you a right wing version of the story rather than the facts. So I think that's dangerous. But then in some other countries, you see that they got censorship in sort of their sort of media and stuff like that. So it's good if they can get the right level of information from outside of their countries. For example, North Korea, they could see the world in a different sort of place. So to a degree, that's a good thing. I think a lot of people are getting destroyed by the fact that there is too much information, and people are drowning because they're seeing so much information that they're either just taking the headlines and not bothering to read the whole story, or they're simply just like find their source of information for one place.
Just gonna say, like, I feel like we're exposed to so much, and you have to kind of put a wall or like a visor on or something like that to what you're seeing, so you can kind of like process all the information. You're right in saying that people don't necessarily do the investigations, which is 100% true. Not talking people just jump to conclusions, but living in this information age where I think it is a positive thing to be able to go and search certain things and know the answers and get the facts and get the numbers, if that's what you're doing. I think the negative side to it is, and the clickbait and things of that nature, where people are just so quick to gain one microcosm of the issue and then use that to rebuff their whole story, or even help them create more of a story to something. or even create their own version, even though they're not even involved, or they don't know the people involved, or they're not in the situation, period. I feel like it's dangerous because you're putting too much information in the wrong hands.
Mm.
You know, there's too many people out here who do and say hurtful things, and you know, even murder people and so on and so forth. You know, this all that information is out there. The fact that, you know, I mean, I'm not saying that, because there's a part of me that is militant as hell, and I'm like, nah, fuck it, like, get him. But it's like, you know, the guy who Derek Chauvin, who killed George Floyd, for instance, I think his home address was then put on the internet. You know, in one aspect, I'm like, fuck him. In the other aspect, I'm like, damn, like, he's got a family. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got kids. You know, you don't want people standing outside his house and, you know, doing all that type of stuff. Nobody would like that to happen to them. And that happens a lot. You know, anytime. I know recently what happened in the UK and Mitcham with the pedophile. We talked about that and have an episode on that. But, you know, so many different addresses were thrown out for this guy. You know, it's almost like he was a multi-millionaire living in several different fucking places. But people were showing up to these places. You know, people were showing up to these places. And like I said in that video, you know, I don't know if the public should be able to gain that much access or information about anybody. You know, even to the point where, but which is like this person's net worth. You know, I think even that is harmful. You know, in the sense of, you know, maybe we shouldn't know how much money Jeff Bezos has. Maybe we should be like, yo, he's a really rich man. He has to be. Amazon is booming. You know, but instead it's out there, right there in your face. So it almost makes certain people a target.
Yeah.
You know, I mentioned, when by the time you see this, you'll hopefully had already seen this other video. I mentioned the thing about Kevin Hart. You know, all that money makes you a target, and then people like use that to then expose you on other things. People knowing how much money you make, or knowing, you know, where you live or what have you. I think there is a problem with security when it comes to these things. I mean, even now America's facing an issue with Donald Trump not wanting to do a peaceful handover of power with President-elect Joe Biden. And it worries some people in the sector about the fact that information is not being passed on the right way and the handover is not being done the right way. And the worrying part is that America then becomes defenseless to any attack or anything that could possibly happen in the country from a foreign situation. Should we know that as the public? I think would be my question to you.
No, we shouldn't know that. And I never understand when we get terrorist alerts. Mm-hmm. So when it goes from this is a level, by medium level to a high level,
to a level,
like, yeah. Why does the public need to know that? Like, you should be.
Well, I think in that sense we do, but I don't think like I think the reason why we, you know, I would kind of want to know whether or not I'm in the right place for a terrorist attack, if that makes sense. I mean, anywhere can be a terrorist attack, but we know it's going to be like a big place.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that they have different levels of security. So when stuff happens, say for instance, happens in France,
we shouldn't know the security stuff.
Yeah, so it goes from a medium level to a high level, but surely we shouldn't know that, because a terrorist is probably going to less likely do something in the high level, because they're probably going to get found out, you would like to think, than if they were to do something when it's like a medium level threat of terror.
So you're saying it shouldn't be made public knowledge in terms of being put on the news, we're on high alert for a terrorist attack, because then it might change the terrorist plans in that sense.
Yeah, like that. Why do we need to know that? All we need to know nowadays is that terrorist attacks happen. Be vigilant. That's it. Always be vigilant. That's it.
Yeah.
Be ready.
I think the problem is that, you know,
it's a useless bit of information. What can you do? What can you do from it? What can you do?
Stay home.
That's it.
Stay home. Like that's literally it. I think in that sense we don't want to live in fear, and I think that's what this information age would do, and has done a lot, is put people into a mindset of fear, and put them into a place, do this and I can't do that, and so on and so forth. I think all the information that's come out about the coronavirus, for instance, is needed. It's all needed. We all need to know what's going on. We all need to know, because the world is suffering this, not just one place. We all need to know what's going on and how we are to survive this situation and put out there. But I do believe that there's certain levels, you know, that we should, that the public shouldn't, because, and it's not that the public, actually, let me say this the way I think it is. I don't think the public are prepared to take on that level of information.
No, not at all. It's even like and I don't want to be fair, it kind of not proves my point, but proves one of the points that I was saying in one of the other videos, which is,
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll talk about this in another video as well, which is the Tesco representation that they have in their videos.
Yeah.
Now, Shade Room put it up, and they took it from someone else, to be fair, that said that they got cut from an advert. But then when you actually delve deeper, and if you did the research behind it, Tesco have done loads of adverts recently where there's been loads of black people in it, prominently in their videos, like they're the main people. But because of this one advert that a black couple,
this person said they've been cut out for racist reasons,
and they don't even know if it's racist reasons, because and trust me when I know this, that they wouldn't have been part of the editing suite. They're just there to act. That's it. They get paid for the acting bit.
Do their part. Yeah.
And that's it. If they make the final credits, they make the final credits. It's a bit like when you go to do the acting jobs and you're
it's deleted scenes in films.
Part of a scene. Do you know what I mean? Deleted scenes. You don't know the reason why you were deleted. You could have been deleted because you're black. Could be deleted because your scene was too long, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that there's a lot of people that would have seen that post that they put up, right? And would have been like, yeah, I'm boycotting Tesco's because they're racist, right? Without actually looking into it further, of the fact that, no, they've actually done quite a bit. They could probably do more, but they've done...
Or maybe there's a change in direction.
Yeah. They've done quite a bit. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of people just see information either on social media or on Twitter or on Facebooks, on all these blogging sites, and they take them as gospel fact. Anything that I say, right, or any of my views that I say, I always research it, even if it's for like 5 minutes.
Research.
I guarantee you now, if the headline is bullshit or anything like that, you can find out within 5 minutes. You don't need to read a dissertation. But a lot of people...
But I guess that's the good side. That's the good side of information, though, right? The fact that we can debunk the bullshit.
But a lot of people don't use it, though.
No, exactly.
People
exactly.
would ask you,
I think that's
would ask you a question, right? How many times has this happened to you where someone's asked you a question that they can Google?
Oh, thousands of times.
Do you know what I mean? Like, why are you asking me? Like, just Google. The
only time I accept that is when it's somebody who's like older, an older generation.
If it's like wisdom, like
that's the only time I actually accept it.
Yeah, like what should I do in this situation? But if it's
the only time I accept it.
Oh, what, like when did Lincoln die or something like that? Why are you asking me? Just go on the internet and find out yourself.
I'd just be looking at them like, what the fuck? It's so crazy. I don't even know that, and I'm not interested to find out. But if you but Google is your friend, bro. Like Google's your friend, bro. I think that's the good side of it. I think the good side of it is like the information is out there, and you can ascertain information, and you can look to try and educate yourself as much as possible. And people should do that. I think the bad thing in information is everything you just said, which is people just look at one statement or one bulletin and run with it and just say and make up things and attack the company or attack what's taking place. Sorry. So, I think information is a good thing when used correctly. The problem is we live in a world who use everything in the wrong way. So that's just, it is what it is at this point in time. But I think that if you get anything from us or anything from anybody from this particular video, this episode, is go seek the truth for yourself. Sometimes things are just as they are, black and white, and then some things do have a gray area. I don't necessarily want those people believe in gray areas, but things sometimes have those areas where it's not cut and dry, and there are other things at work that have other elements to it that stop people from doing certain things. So be careful of what you do feed yourself from a social media standpoint if you don't have that ability to remove yourself from it in terms of your mental, but also understand that it's important to take this information on so you know what you're dealing with. So yeah, it's Bird Lawrence. Like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell to know when we post. And we're gonna keep bringing you content every day, and hopefully you guys subscribe and like what we do. I'm out.